Hey everyone, welcome back to the Colony Pit, where we catch up with our classmates and alumni. This is part two of our conversation with Mike Smith, class of '93. And Mike was on the first one. Please listen to it. He was telling us how he grew up in the East Greenbush area, went to school in Sand Creek. Then he was dabbling in Bishop McGinn, and he realized those guys weren't as cool as the Colony guys, and he had to come back to Colony Central to hang out with all of us. Which was a smart choice. And then after that, Mike went to Coastal Carolina, did a semester there, came back to the capital region, attended the infamous Hudson Valley, and then headed back to Coastal Carolina, where he is now. You're about to graduate now. You have your degree, and actually, did you get your degree in secondary education and history? You did receive your bachelor's and a
Yes,
minor in that.
yes, yep.
So
Class
what
of
was it?
'99.
Oh, nice. So what was the next steps? Now that you have your degree in hand, what is your I guess did you have anything lined up career wise, or what was the plan?
I had nothing career-wise. I actually wanted to come back to the Albany area to teach because the pay was better. And I wasn't sold on the schools down in the South because I had done my internships here, and it's just I'm from New York. There are a lot of them. I mean, there's a lot of transplants. A lot of people come from up north too, but there's also people who are very country, and it's just very different than what we're used to. But I was close at Voorheesville, almost got in there. Didn't quite get that. Didn't quite get up the finish line. Tried a couple of places in Virginia, but of course the one school that said yes was the local school, one of the local schools in the Myrtle Beach area, which is where I wound up and put in a year before I
So,
ventured off.
no, so let me ask you this. So what would you say would be the difference between Colony and where you were in Myrtle Beach? Like what would be the biggest
Mhm.
differences for that you would say come to mind?
Big time culture differences. I mean, again, there's people from all kinds of states. Now, where I went to taught was in the Myrtle Beach area, where a lot of people are transplants. They came to Coastal from Michigan, Tennessee, Georgia, Virginia, D.C., you name it, Jersey, New York, and then same with the teachers and the students. So there's a lot of that, but then there's the good old boys too. And it's there's some rednecks, there's still some. It depends on where you go in the state. There's still some grief over the Civil War even to this day. Um, I naive me, I met a girl at some party and told her where I was from. She says, "Oh, you're a Yankee." I was like, "No, I'm actually a Red Sox fan." And then she said, "No, but you're a Yankee." And then I was like, "Oh, okay, that's supposed to be like an insult." Uh, I didn't get it. I was just talking about sports, but I'm not a Red Sox fan anymore. But so, anyways, there's a lot of that. I mean, not all Southerners are bad. It's not. I don't want to send that message, but it's definitely different. And like nobody from the South knows what a cannoli is. But of course, nobody in the North knows that Southerners like to put peanuts in their Diet Coke, like
Oh wow.
hard-boiled peanuts inside a bottle, because apparently has something to do with tobacco fields. I don't ask me to explain it.
Wow.
So,
And then there's the infamous sweet tea and regular iced tea that they ask
oh, I've
you.
had that. Yeah,
Uh,
it's actually pretty good. It's I was used to like the Snapple iced tea, not the Southern iced tea. Grits is a big thing. Barbecue sandwiches are a big thing. And then a thing called chicken bog, which is like it's not nearly as spicy, but it's like a jambalaya. It's with chicken sausage and rice. But
Right.
there's good and bad. I'm probably getting off
No, that's okay.
off the
We'll get back to your professional life, but just curious to know overall. I've only been to South Carolina once, haven't spent a whole lot of time in the South in general, but overall speed of life down there seems much slower than up in the North. Would you agree on that? Just in terms of just daily living.
Many areas. Myrtle Beach is pretty quick. You get in the cities. Charleston is, there's a lot of, there's a lot of city life there.
Hmm.
Greenville's a really nice city in the upstate. And then Columbia too. All the major cities are like any other city. Columbia is about the size of Albany in terms of population and
Okay.
size. But yeah, it depends on where you are in the state. It's in some ways it's definitely very slow. There's a lot of blue bloods in some of the areas. So, there's people who just have their people and it's generational. It's not personal, I guess, but that's just
Right.
the way it is. But most people I've found to be welcoming, especially, it was probably more so 30 years ago than it is today.
Yeah.
Today is a little bit more, as time goes on, I guess time does heal some wounds.
Right.
So, what would your favorite city in South Carolina be then? If you're going to say, "Hey, Pat and John, you guys need to come to this city," which one would you tell us to go to first?
Clemson.
Yeah.
I
It
mean,
ain't bad.
Clemson is an actual town. I mean, it's not just the school
Yeah.
name. Outside of Greenville. I mean, it's a great area. Of course, people, Carolina fans would say Columbia, but there's lots of great areas to visit. Aiken's really neat. There's a lot of large live oaks here and in the horse community, so people who are into horses would love it. Augusta's not far. Charleston is real fun. I do like going down to Charleston. It's expensive. The traffic is horrendous, but if you know your way around down there, there's a lot of history to be taken in. There's
Hmm.
a lot of great places to eat. So that's real fun too. I'm trying to think. Myrtle Beach used to be, but it's gotten so overdeveloped. It's insane. It's condo city. It's subdivision city. Cracker box houses everywhere. Golf courses are turning into neighborhoods, and it's still got a lot of neat stuff. My parents live there. I still visit once a month, but that's kind of the short way of putting it.
Right. Yeah, I've heard Clemson usually shows up on the top cities to live in America and
Hmm.
stuff, and I've read about it, and it seems like a really, besides just a school, just in general, it seems like a really cool place to live and a manageable place to live too, which
Yes.
seemed kind of appealing to me. Like big, big, but not like overly big was the
Right.
impression I got.
Right. My
Yeah.
journalism days, how I fell into it, because I got to cover college football, and I just found the Clemson sports information department to be a lot easier to work with versus Carolina.
All right.
And I just, I've been on the field for both and covering games, and I don't know, I just fell in love with the culture there. Um, I mean, I enjoy going to a Carolina game. I mean, you're sitting there on the sideline taking pictures, and you look up, and it's like 80,000 people are surrounding you. It's
Right.
pretty fun. And it could be anywhere. It could be Penn State. It could be
Mhm.
Georgia, anywhere. But Clemson was fun.
So speaking of the sports reporting, tell us about how did you get into journalism? Was covering sports your first assignment or focus, or like how did the transition from excuse me, teaching to journalism? How did that happen?
Well, there was an ad in the paper, and I went for it. And it just said writing experience. It didn't say you had to have a journalism degree. It was a weekly paper. It was called the Myrtle Beach Herald. It wasn't the Daily, which was the Sun News. So I went in for it, and guy gave me a shot on like a trial basis. Apparently, some other guy got the job, but he never showed up to work. He got into a car accident, and then 8 weeks later, he was all healed up, but he just ghosted the paper, I guess, or something. So I ended up getting the job by default. And but I'm glad I've gotten so many different experiences. I started as a government writer, school board meetings, county council, that kind of thing. But then I got weaved into high school sports.
Hmm.
We did have the senior PGA tour came to town, TPC Myrtle Beach, so I got to go cover that event where Tom Watson and Jack Nicklaus and Hale Irwin and those guys were all there playing. So I got to take their pictures and ask them questions in the press room. That was fun.
Yeah.
Anytime a celebrity would come to town, my publisher would just send me, and it was all of a sudden I'm being thrust in there, and I have this access. I can interview all these different people just because I have a press badge, and I have to admit it went to my head at first, and then I kind of learned when I made a few mistakes in writing the story, like what was really involved, but I learned from it, and then I just kind of moved up different papers, larger markets, and I don't want to list every little thing that I've done. It's not
Yeah.
about me, but it was very influential on me professionally and personally, definitely.
Nice.
Wow. I was going to say
How
to
many?
go see a college. I was going to say just going to go see college football games every Saturday
Hmm.
with that because obviously down south football is treated different than obviously football up north where we're at. It's religion, and especially with Clemson the last couple of years, like within probably the last 10 years, they've been with Deshaun Watson and all those quarterbacks, they've been actually a really good football team that came out there, and like with every team they have their ups and downs, but man, I mean that's a great atmosphere to be in every day, just to actually then to hang down on the sidelines, and two different games, one in the stands, one in the sidelines, and you get to actually see both those worlds going on. So man, I was gonna say, next time if you do get an assignment, just call me up. I'd be more than happy to carry your bag for you while you
I need a videographer, and you guys, definitely. Isn't that hard, really?
I could be like your press caddy. That's what I could be, your press caddy. I'll hold your microphone or whatever it is you need. But no, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that is great.
I think my favorite was the SEC title game when Cam Newton was quarterback at Auburn when they beat South Carolina to get, and they went on to win the title. I might have irritated the CBS booth people because now this is after the game, right? All the scrum of the media are chasing Cam Newton. Just imagine him running around the perimeter of the sideline, high-fiving fans, counterclockwise, right? You got 30 media chasing after him. Who the hell thinks they're going to catch the Heisman winner? These are fat, chubby photo guys in cargo shorts and lugging giant cameras. So I cut across the field and said, I'm letting Cam run to me. And sure enough, I got the shot. I'll have to share it all later. Then I turned around. I got a stink eye from the CBS booth people. I don't care. I got the shot.
Right.
Nice.
Of all the people that you covered or interviewed or interacted with, I guess I should say, who do you have a few favorites that you're like, they were just awesome, like good people?
That's a good question. That's a hard one. One of my favorite lines, this speaks to college football being king in the South. Our school is up to no good. Not only did they let go of the coach, Dave Bennett is the answer to your question, but then his successor, Joe Moglia, was also an equally amazing interview. So basically, Coastal was just a mediocre school. They were D1 2A, still in the FCS. They're not 500, and they decided they're going to get rid of the coach, which happens a lot. What happened was, behind the scenes, Joe Moglia lived in the same neighborhood as university president. And since Joe Moglia is worth about $1 billion, the thinking was he was brought aboard for the money. I did put in a public information request for the emails between him and the university president, and it turns out that they basically offered him the job before they even advertised it. But then, so the big story in that was they advertised it. 3 guys, one of them Joe Moglia, and 2 other guys interviewed for a job, but it was a sham because none of them were going to get the job. They already offered it to this guy. So I put the emails in the paper, and the football fans hated it because there's Coastal, we don't care, we want to win. So I was the bad guy, but I won an award for it. So sometimes you have to do what's not popular but it might be what's right. But interviewing Dave Bennett, I mean, he was like Dabo Sweeney almost. He was like that dadgummit, by golly kind of guy, and he is just hilarious. And oh God, I'm just gonna say he smacked me in a way an athlete smacks his players at a Dollar General of all places. Because of my reporting, he got a $750,000 settlement, which I'm sure he was very happy about because it made it easier for him to negotiate that when all the shenanigans got out. But then Joe Moglia, he's driving around in his Escalade and he's talking to me about all kinds of stuff. I'm like, he was like an open book. I like that. I like the open book. I don't want people who are, like politicians. They got rehearsed answers and they speak what's on their mind. So that was really cool. I guess those 2 would be the most because I spent so much time reporting about that whole thing. But I could probably name 50. It's hard. It's just about telling people stories regardless of who they are, because sometimes just the guy next door does something amazing.
Nice.
I was going to say, have you been on the sidelines within the last couple of years for Coastal Carolina football wise? Because they've been up there knocking on the door, and they're kind of like giant killers out there.
Yeah, not since they made the move up into the Sun Belt Conference and Division 1A football. I left the business in 2017 when I went to work for a daily newspaper here in Aiken, is where we moved out here, and I was either offered a less appealing job than the one I had, or I could take severance. I took the severance, but I was already looking at switching careers. And so what I do now is not nearly as exciting. I'm a technical writer, so I write instruction manuals for tech companies on how to operate their software systems. But it's 9 to 5. It's not 9 to 9.
Yeah.
And I get to work from home, and it's more golf friendly, and I can keep an eye on the house, the dogs, and other things, which, because before, I'm out, my wife never sees me. So,
Right. A little more work-life balance.
much more so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Election night was the worst because you're out till 4 a.m. chasing down drunk, council winners. You have to find out their favorite bars and go get them.
Right. That's funny. Was it when you were doing the journalism, was the sports your favorite thing to cover, or were there any other beats that you really enjoyed as well? Like if you could go back,
Mhm.
would sports kind of be your focus, or did you like government, or did you like them all?
Um, I like sports a whole lot because of the access that you get to
Yeah.
a lot of different things. I would never have been able to get to the Georgia Dome and cover a big game there, or cover different things, or major golf tournaments, or meet celebrities. But um, I really liked covering court, of all things. Civil
Okay.
court, criminal court. I've been in murder trials. I've been in, bankruptcy cases involving elected officials and different things. And I feel like that if I could do it all over, law would be something that I would be
Mhm.
good at, because the document preparation part, it's a lot of what I do now. I'm really good at arguing with people, so I think I would be good in presenting arguments. And I don't know, I just feel like I have a talent for finding things that are hard to find out.
Yeah.
uh, Research. And I mean, that was the essence of what my history major was. It's not just, who did what on this date, but how do you find some obscure fact, or how do you find some. And I
Mhm.
actually had to do this because we got sued over a property renters dispute, and I had to go look up stuff. And I came to court, and the judge asked me if I was a lawyer. I said, "Oh, geez, Your Honor, thank you. No, I just had been covered court a lot as a journalist."
Yeah.
But it's because I've been around it a lot, and it's like TV makes it look like this dashing profession, and some of it on TV is realistic, some of it isn't. But it's I think that would be something I would look at. You know, that was something I really like doing other than sports, and I might consider as another career if I could do it all over again.
Right.
And didn't they have like a big story down there? I think there was a documentary on HBO called The Low Country where they talk
Oh yeah,
about there's the
Murdoch
family down
case.
there, and I think didn't he go to court? I think it was like maybe 6 months ago. He went back
Oh
to
yeah,
court. Yeah.
yeah. Well, he was that's a county near Charleston. Easier to put it that way. He was like one of those legacy families that's generational, blue blood, had this big estate money, but he had so much money and power. It's almost like back home with what was his name? Uncle Dan with the fedora back in the 50s. I mean, it like a Tammany Hall kind of guy, but in a southern version of it. And he just thought he was above the law. His kid thought he was above the law, and because there's such a prominent family, for all this dirty laundry to go on, that's what made it so sensational. And then, of course, the fact that the kid, got in a boating accident while he was drunk. That was a big case. His father intervened to, sweep it under the rug, and then the father, be involved in murder too. I mean, it's just, yeah, it was
Yeah.
built for a TV movie.
Wow. Do you,
Yeah, that was a wild story.
yeah. Do you ever get back to the Capital District at all? Do you still have any family here? Or there?
I have
I talk like I'm still there. I'm not even still there, but do you have any family still there?
I do. I have some family, but not many. Sadly, most of my uncles have passed away. I have one remaining uncle on my dad's side. My dad's brother, Uncle Jimmy. He lives out in no, Faribault is the easiest way to put it. Out there,
Okay.
out past Bethlehem, in the country. And he's 72. He's widowed. But I don't believe I think everyone else, and I have cousins, of course, that are up there. My last time up there was, I believe, the 10-year reunion, which was 10 years
Oh,
ago.
wow.
or no, 20-year reunion. Sorry.
Yeah.
And I was telling earlier, John, it's just, something. It was something that was threatening to disappear. I remember it was Michael Astriab on Facebook was worried. What's going on? We're not going to have a reunion. Now I said, no, we've got to have a reunion. So we did it. We scrambled to save it as best we could. And thankfully we got something together. Facebook helped us get who we could. I got some other people help. Sandy McCall was huge because I remember she put together the 10-year. Wendy Rivers and some others. We just tried to be as organic as we could and just get to as many people, but we didn't have much time to put something together.
Yeah.
And we would have had
So
more
you're
people.
talking about the 20-year. You helped put
The
together the
20-year, yes.
20-year.
I might have said
Okay.
10,
Yeah.
yes.
All right. Yeah.
But the 20-year. There were others who could have come, but I think a lot of people wanted to do a day picnic kind of a thing. And looking back, I probably should to include more people. We could have done that, but yeah, that's my last time. Oh no, I take that back. I was up about 7 years ago, visiting my uncle and my dad.
Okay.
Too. Oddly enough, I visit Long Island more because that's where my wife's family's from. So.
Yeah. Well, I was not able to go to the 20-year. I was at the 10-year reunion, but we just talked about this the other day with Gina Cianato, now Gina Tronco, and thank you for putting forth the effort on the reunion, because I know sometimes online there's some flack about, the reunions, blah, 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 they're not that good. And I always say you can't blame the people that put the effort in to organize them, that they did their job, and either people come or they don't. And I appreciate you putting the effort in to, help make that happen.
Well, thank you. I just didn't want to see it go away because I missed the 10-year because we didn't have Facebook. And I think it was really hard to get with people then.
Yeah.
And when I just sensed that it was in danger of not that's when I was like, oh, let's, so we got something. Was it perfect? No. But, I don't think there's a reunion where everyone comes either. There were people who came that I wasn't expecting too. So it's,
nice.
But, next time I catch wind of a 30 or 40, I'm up. I'm game. I miss it up there in many ways.
So let me ask you this, Mike. So what's the biggest problem that you see when you try to organize it? I know everyone's trying to schedule everyone together, as Rex and I find out trying to do this is just, trying to work within people's lives to get it. But when you were putting together a reunion, like what's the biggest hurdles that you see that you're always trying to face?
Right. Well, taking away the time crunch, because that was a specific issue for that time. But I think it's just trying to figure out when is the best time, because people are always taking a vacation at some point. Or always traveling. And I think that was an issue maybe with the 10-year. I heard that was around Thanksgiving or the holidays. I think this one was in like August that we did, or September. And some people were taking vacations there. It might have been, I could forget when, but but you can pick a month, and people are going to be traveling, or in school, or can't. And I just, I think that you just need to start early. Because then you can intercept some of this and get a pulse of what people want to do or not and whatnot. But so I think that's it, starting early, and then just finding what's that sweet spot. What's the month you're never gonna get the entire class. And sadly there's some classmates that aren't even with us anymore. That still hits me to the core that I can't believe that. I mean, you guys, you haven't changed hardly at all since high school, and then there's people who haven't, physically at least, but other people are like, wow.
Yeah.
So let me throw this idea at you, and I ran this by Rex. What would you say if we threw a reunion where it was like class like 1989 to 1996? And the way that works, it's when we were freshmen, there was like that 3-year push ahead of us. And when we were seniors, there's that 3-year push behind us. And let's say we put that together, and instead of making it one day, we make it 4 days, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I know talking with Rex, he said, like, if someone has kids, you kind of have to be cognizant and realize to have some events during, the daytime where the families can go. And we actually put a name for this. I think I was going to call it Colony Palooza. And I said, if we did it, I said that would be a way, because like you said too, I mean, and like I said, God bless you, trying to coordinate people. I know those nightmares, but at least this way you have like the bigger I guess, bigger pool of classmates that can go in. And not that everyone will probably know each other. And we were talking about this offline. I've been going through the yearbook, and there's so many people that I don't even know that they were in our class with us. That it's crazy. Like they could like show up and say, "Yeah, I graduated, in '93 from Colony," and some of these people I never even heard of or actually saw during my 4 years in Colony, which is the craziest thing. But that's the pitch. Do you think that pitch would? Do you think that could work?
I think so, because I was seeing something on Facebook not too long ago about this. He's not calling it that, but a booze cruise kind of a thing.
Yeah, Matt Halleck is putting
Yeah,
that together. It's like a Saratoga, Lake George weekend, day at the track, booze
yeah,
cruise. Is that what you're talking about?
yeah, exactly. And it doesn't state a year; it just says Colony Reunion. So it's kind of along
Hmm.
those lines, because a lot of us had friends that were a year ahead, a year before, and so you catch more people. And I think people would say, "Hey, they're there. Maybe I'll come." And then when you give people options, because that's speaking to what I ran into. God, I wish I was more part of it, because my wife had friends up there, and I'm not throwing a bus or anything, but we wanted to go visit them and go to the track, and so I showed up to the reunion already half in the bag, so that was their story. But yeah, it's doing something in the daytime would have been great, because then we could have gotten to see other people, and maybe some people said, "Yeah, I'll go to both events." And,
Yeah.
that instead of just saying, so instead of just doing what we did, which was a bar, which was
Right.
fun, it was good,
Yeah.
but there's what we came up with.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, Mike, thanks for spending time with us. But before we get
Yeah.
out of here, let's hit you with some more colony and early '90s this or that questions. John,
Okay.
do you want to go first?
Sure, I'll kick it off here. So, how about this one? Where are we most likely to find you at Borders, Walden Books, or Barnes and Noble?
Probably Barnes and Noble. Though that was not so much until college. I kind of fell into the whole friends, coffee scene at that point. I was more mid '90s though, not our time.
Yeah. Back in the day, were you a Blockbuster or Hollywood video rental guy?
Oh, Blockbuster.
Yeah. What
Yeah,
uh what section of the store would you usually go to first to check out? Like
yeah.
comedy, action, horror?
It depends. A lot of some horror, but
Oh,
some comedy. When I got to college, we watched a lot of Cheech and Chong. That was
okay.
good.
So what's your favorite horror movie?
Um, oh God. I guess it's technically horror, but what's its face? I can't. The Hannibal Lecter, the Silence of the Lambs.
Nice.
Just because of the
Yep.
way it's done, it's more thriller, I guess. But yeah, I think that's
And what would
technically
you say
horror.
your favorite golf movie is?
Um, well, they're making a sequel. Happy Gilmore. I can't wait. There's so many lines in that movie. It's not even funny, and I can't. I hope they don't make it suck like it did the Coming to America sequel. So.
Nice.
Cool.
Here we go. So, what game console did you have in your house growing up? Was it Atari, Nintendo, ColecoVision, a television, Jaguar, or Sega Genesis?
Oh, geez, I had about all of those. But graduating around high school time, Nintendo Entertainment System and Super NES.
And what was your game? What your go-to game?
Oh, Mortal Kombat.
Wow, nice, very nice.
I had all the
Very nice.
fatalities down.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Um, Favorite eating spot back in the day? You said you lived off Sand Creek Road there, right?
Yeah,
Space, was it? Yeah.
Space Boulevard. Yeah,
Okay. Try to tailor it to that area.
isn't that the Barn Cider not far from there?
I was gonna say, I was gonna go with Barn Cider, Ralph's Tavern, or Butcher Block.
Ooh,
Um, wow, Butcher Block. That's on Central, right? It was next to
Yeah, Butcher
the
Block was on
UFC.
Central near the community center.
Yeah, right, Butcher Block. Because when I
Okay.
came back home, I went there, and it was a good place to have a beer.
All right. Yeah, it was a nice place. Yeah, not a place you would go frequently because it was a little expensive, but it was a
Right.
nice place. John?
all right. Well, Yeah, but I was going to say, Mike, again, thanks a ton
Mhm.
for joining
Yeah.
us. I was just curious too, if you had one person that we went to high school with, any grade, who would you say, like, man, I wonder what they are up to right now since we graduated? Who would that person be? It could be any grade.
Oh God. Any grade. What are they up to? Well, I don't really know. I don't really know. There was someone who I mentioned who didn't go to our school, and finally caught up to him. Uh, Tom Miller from Catholic Central. I guess that's the other CCHS.
Mhm.
Um, he was hard to track. He was off the grid, but he was like a big influence on me golf wise. But we didn't go to the same school, but we
Okay.
played the same club and a lot of same tournaments. I well, no, because a lot of them I caught up with on Facebook. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to answer a question to give an answer, but I honestly don't know off
Uh,
the top of my head.
all right. Well, if one comes to you, you know how to get in touch with us. You
Yeah,
let us know, and maybe we can track them down a bit. All right. But Mike,
definitely, definitely.
yeah, but we appreciate you spending some time with
Yeah.
us. It was interesting to hear about your high school years and everything you've been
Hmm.
doing down in South Carolina. So thank you for joining the Colony Pit, and for
Thanks
everyone
for having me.
else, yeah, no problem. And thanks for watching us,
Oh yeah,
our other episodes as well. We appreciate that. So
certainly.
for everyone else, if you enjoyed this episode, please give us a thumbs up, like on YouTube. Consider subscribing to us, and we'll catch you on the next episode of the Colony Pit. Peace out.